Yo, welcome back to another Pokemon Scarlet VGC video. I'm your host, Jose Rocks, and today we have a very interesting video for you guys. So today I'm going to be covering some of the results of the 2025 North American International Championships, and this was a very special international or NAIC for me to witness because I was actually one of the ones that took place in this tournament. So this was actually my first event that I actually attended, in-person event. I played, a couple of limitless tournaments, and of course I play online all the time, right? But this is my first in-person event. This was my entry into the VGC scene as far as like in-person tournaments and actually getting championship points and stuff like that, right? So I wanted to see how well I would do. I did skip over the regionals and make this my first event. My first event was gonna be Atlanta, but I ended up having to work and I wasn't able to make it, the Atlanta regional. So now, the North American International Championships ended up being my first one. And I felt like I started off with a bang. So if you guys didn't already look up my results, or if you saw, my name and stuff in the standings, I did do very well day one. In day one, I was, one of the top ranked players. I was with a 4-2 record, and I ended up finishing 5-3, just short of day two. So I did end up losing to a very seasoned veteran, Alex Underhill, in a very, very close best of three. I pretty much lost because of my Ursaluna. I didn't click Earthquake into his Focus Sash, Chin Power, and his Urshifu that was on the field. While he had Miraidon in the back. Had I just clicked that and I was still full HP on my Ursaluna, I would have won. But the mons that he had in front of me, the Ursaluna, the Urshifu, and the Chien-Pao that was on Sash, it was across from my Ursaluna. And hold on, let me make sure this stays on here. Yeah, it was a. Sorry about that. It's just a little ad. And get past that. There we go. All right, so my Ursaluna was next to my Calyrex Shadow, and I was full HP on my Calyrex Shadow. And what Alex did was he doubled into the Calyrex Shadow with a Surging Strikes plus a Sucker Punch. But Surging Strikes next to Chien-Pao usually KOs Calyrex. That's Focus Sash. So I'm not sure why he doubled into it with a Sucker Punch and Surging Strikes. I guess he wanted to just account for me being bulky and just picking up a double KO in return. But he did double into it. But the fact that he doubled into it is, if I had clicked Earthquake instead of Facade to Urshifu, then I would just immediately won the game because his Miraidon was Assault Vest. And earlier in one of our games, because it was game 3, earlier in like game 2 or game 1, he clicked Draco Meteor into my Ursaluna and only did about 70%. So I would have won the game, barring a crit and just one-shot his Miraidon back. So it was really cool that I was that close to day 2. That was his day 2 as well, and he gave me some props and pretty much said that I told him after the game this was my first tournament, and he was very surprised because he couldn't tell that this was my first tournament. And he said that I made him sweat, and it was one of his hardest winning ends that he's had to do, and he almost didn't make day 2. So that felt good to me that I was able to push a very good player to the brink. And I almost knocked him off, and I was able to get into day 2. But ultimately, he ended up winning that game, and I gave him a fist bump and stuff like that. It was still a great set. I wasn't salty or anything about it, but it was definitely a great match, and I feel like I could have won it had I not misclicked. But we're gonna get into my team in a little bit. But I did want to look into the winner, Federico and Marco. I think this was really cool that these two played each other in the finals, seeing as they were roommates, and they finished with like pretty much the same exact record. But Marco got second place. So this was a really cool finals because I wonder what the conversation was like Saturday night before Championship Sunday when they met each other, in the room that night and said, hey, we're both in finals. Like, how do you prep against somebody that you're actually rooming with? So that was very interesting to me, in my opinion. Federico had a really cool team. It's one of the teams that's been, I think it won like the first Red Guy Regional. But it was a Grimmsnarl over the Whimsicott. So it is a new team as far as, it's not a new comp, but it's a new team as far as winning a regional because the one that won had a Grimmsnarl on it, right? So I think this is a really cool. The Electric Seed Nulana is very hard to remove on the physical side. And of course, Ursaluna, in my opinion, is just such a good mind. It's very slept on. I felt like it was the MVP for my tournament run because it was just picking up so many KOs. And the way I played it on the Trick Room was just very valuable. So yeah, this was a really cool tournament for me, and I was happy that I got to experience, playing in real life a tournament, and I was able to do really well. So Marco Silva, he also had a really cool team. Calyrex Shadow, Zamazenta stuff. One thing to note is that he had Ogerpon. Ogerpon was really cool on this team. It was fairly niche in the tournament because I didn't see too many of them, but he used it pretty well. This team actually reminds me of the Wolfe team that he won. I think it was Orlando. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that, but it was a regulation. I want to say E, or no, it was F, because it was a center. Yeah, it was regulation F team, right? And he had like the Fluttermane in this slot, Urshifu in this slot, Rillaboom in center war, Ogerpon, and then the lone neck was Fergraph instead of Raging Bolt. And it was a very similar team to this one. It didn't too much play the same because it was more so focused on setting up Ogerpon with Swords Dance to sweep your opponent, and the other mons kind of supported it with Urshifu being like the other offensive piece. But it's a very similar team, and this was very cool. Marco played very well. I was rooting for him to win. I actually got to meet him. So if you guys haven't been to an in-person event or even to spectate or compete, I definitely recommend that you guys go. It is very fun. Everybody was so open to, taking pictures and stuff. I got to take so many pictures with so many, popular players like the Battle Room, Colin here, Joe Ugarte, Marco Silva, Ashton Cox. Of course, I met Aaron again. It's my second time meeting Aaron in person because he also stayed at my hotel. But yeah, meeting Aaron again, seeing him there, it was just Aaron Cybertron's name it was so cool, man. It was so many people there. The skill level was so high. So I'm actually impressed that I was able to finish with a 5-3 record. So if we want to go down to my team, we can go over real quick. I actually finished 278th out of 1,129 players, which in my opinion, for my first tournament, I think that's pretty good. My goal was to come there and go 4-4 or win the whole tournament. Of course, that was, a big goal for me. But for me to go positive and, still do really good. And, one of my losses coming to Alex Underhill, which is a really good player, which we're going to go over his team shortly too. But this is my team. My other two losses actually, hold on, give me 1 sec. Yeah, let me see. All right, so my only two losses actually came from Choice Scarf Miraidon with Snarl and Calm Mind Lunala. If you look at my team, you'll see outside of my physical attackers, my two restricteds, like they are really weak into that duo because Lunala, once it gets set up, it's kind of hard to deal with it. And I didn't really have a lot of good lines into it before the tournament started. After I lost my second time to that team, I did find a line into it that I felt like it was good enough to get me to win because the other matches were very close. But I didn't end up playing it anymore, right? Until I played Alex Underhill, who had Miraidon and Calyrex Ice, right? So it wasn't the same matchup, right? But I did figure out a line into it to beat it. But my first two matches in the practicing against it, it was just an auto loss. But I still played well enough to keep myself in the game. And I was playing against really good players. So one of the players that used it was Teal Team. Let me see. He was Teal Team. Teal Team. He plays pretty high. He was like, I think he finished 8-4. Yeah, Teal Team. So he beat me. This was one of those Calm Mind Lunala teams that I was talking about. That was just really with the Choice Scarf Snarl and Miraidon. Just really good into my team. Struggle Bug, Volcarona. This team was just very hard to remove, man. And Center War reporting shot, like it was just doing so much on the special side. Rillaboom with the Assault Vest. Wide Guard on, the Pelipper for my Calyrex Shadow and Dazzling Gleam. It was just a very, very tough team to deal with. He had the ability shield here to help Pelipper deal with those wheezing Koraidon teams, which is a really cool tech. But it was a cool team. But he was able to handle me relatively well. I think he's the only person that 2-0'd me in the tournament, and it was just like, it felt like an unbeatable matchup, right? So it's really cool that, I was able to, do at least decent into that team. And then the other guy that beat me was John Galvin, but I don't know where he finished ranking at. He has a YouTube channel called Storm VGC. He was actually my first match of the day that I actually played against. So I think that was really cool that I got to play against him. And he was a fellow YouTuber, and also he had the same Miraidon Choice Scarf with the Kama Lunala. So I don't know where he placed that. I had to look through this deeply to see how he did in the tournament, but he was a pretty good player. So one thing I also want to point out is that I finished with the same record as, let me see. Luca Paz had a 5-3 record. Who else? Zay Zhang had a 5-3 record. Let's see. So this is all day ones. Justin Burns. Let's see, those are all good players. I think Joe Ugarte finished with 5-3 too. I'm not sure. Oh, Aaron finished with a 5-3 record too. So this was Aaron's team. That was pretty cool. I didn't even get to see his team. Aaron was using Assault Vest Maridon with Cresselia. So this is pretty cool. Aaron did pretty good too though. Coaching Final Gambit Annihilate, coaching into the Zamazenta. Pretty threatening. And then of course Chen Pao Focus Sash. This is a really cool team. I see the Maridon combo with the Whimsicott is able to do massive damage with the Fake Seers and be super hard to remove with the Assault Vest. So I'm actually glad I didn't play Aaron because this also looks like a good matchup into my team too, right? So that's really cool. And Aaron finished 206, so that was really cool that he finished so high. We all finished with the 5-3 record, but I guess it was based on resistance, how they ranked us. And then here we go, Wolfe Glick. Michael Zhang too also finished with the 5-3 record. But Wolfe Glick, you know, world champion, one of the best players in the VGC scene. He finished with a 5-3 record, and so did I. So I think that was pretty impressive that my first tournament I ever played, and I finished with the same record as, you know, some of the best players to ever play the VGC game, right? So for me, I feel like that's an accomplishment. Of course, I still feel like I wanted to make day 2, but, you know, finishing with positive in my first tournament and losing, you know, kind of with like a, you know, just a pressure mistake that I made because I kind of felt like I lost the game, but you should never just like kind of give up. I felt like I could have done a lot better had I, you know, practiced the Choice Scarf Maridon and Lunala Calm Mind matchup better. Yeah, see, Joe Ugarte also finished with a 5-3 record, and he had a really cool team. So this is just, you know, a really insane, you know, tournament run for me, in my opinion, because it's just to see these players how they did and how I was able to have a similar record to them. It just made me really happy. This is a really cool team. Carmine Lunala with Meteor Beam, Jump Luff, and Groudon. He actually brought Groudon with Double Ground, High Horsepower Precious Blaze. I wonder how that worked for him. Double Fire too, Fire Punch and Heat Crash. That's interesting. This is a really cool team, man. Like, you know, some of the people that I watched coming up with some of their teams is just so cool. Like, and then Wolfie's team, if you guys hadn't seen it, Brute Bonnet, Koraidon stuff with Life Orb again, Covert Cloak Lunala, interesting. Yeah, people was checking out, right? So I want to get back into my team, but like I said, you know, Joe Ugarte, Wolfe Glick, Aaron Zhang, you know, 3 of my Titans that you know, that coming up into, you know, the meta, I model my game a lot from their gameplay and stuff like that. So to finish with the same record as all of them was, you know, really cool in my opinion. But yeah, so all of us are 5-3, but I guess it's based on our resistance on how high we ranked. I started off with a loss. Maybe they didn't start off with a loss. And then I lost in my winning end, right? So I don't know how that really works. I'm still learning, you know, how the structure works, because we're all 5-3, but you know, to how we're ranked, basically, you know, how I fell so far, because I could have been, you know, top up there closer to the top 200s where Aaron Zhang and Wolfie and them are right? But yeah, so getting back into my team, like I said, I initially, when I first built this team, I didn't have the Ursaluna. I had Arm Bundle there. And I thought that the team needed a little bit more physical offense because I had too many special attackers. And I just didn't feel like just double fighting was able to cut it. So I dropped the Iron Hands for Iron Bundle, right? And I was running that. And then after practicing with like my friends Blizzy, Will, and Cruz, that's, you know, people from my friend group who helped me build the team and test it. They said that I needed a better Trick Room mode because I didn't have Fake Out on the team. And outside of like just leading real powerful offense with Ferrograph, I didn't have a way to, you know, almost guarantee Trick Room, right, with Fake Out, right? So they suggested that I drop the bundle and keep the Ursaluna because it was really good and kind of lean towards a Trick Room mode of my team as well as like a fast mode and bring the Iron Hands back. So I end up bringing Iron Hands back, which is really cool in team building, how you can start with a Mon on your team, drop it, and then circle back around to it as a finished product and bring that Mon back for something else. and it worked out really well. I felt like my team had a lot of good matchups into the meta. Like I said, that Combine Lunala matchup, I kind of figured it out, and it was more so leaning, it was more so leaning around playing a more Ursaluna Iron Hands mode, and kind of like just pressuring them with the Frigraph mode, setting up the Trick Room, which would be pretty, detrimental to them. So I do need to practice that matchup more just to play with my team, just have a little bit more fun with it. But this was my first team, so this team is gonna always have a special place in my heart for me, because I was able to do well with it in my first ever tournament. And a lot of people don't get to had that type of experience. They might go like 1-5. They may not even win a game, go 0-6. Some people just drop from the tournament. But I'm happy that I was able to do pretty well. So I'm going to continue to play in more tournaments as the season kicks up in September, and I'm going to be going to more events. So if you guys want to join me on that journey, I am going to be posting more content. I'm still going to be posting my battle content and my rental codes, but I'm also going to be adding some more new content to the channel, which is based on some stories and stuff of what it's like to experience going to like regionals and internationals and stuff like that, what the experience is like, and also showing my results and how I'm doing in these tournaments. So if you guys are interested in that type of content, go ahead and leave a like for me, subscribe, turn those post notifications, because I'm going to be bringing that content to you, every single week, weekly. And if you guys like that type of journey, then this is the channel for you. But that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know with a comment below what you think about me finish with the same records like Wolfe, Aaron, Zhang, and Joe Ugarte. And let me know what you think about my run. Do you think that it was a good run for someone who this is their first event? Like I said, I'm not a rookie to the game. I've hit rank number 1, numerous times on the in-game ladder. I've won a couple limitless tournaments before, and I placed really high in limitless tournaments before. So I'm not new to the game, but this was my first event, and there were little butterflies there, but I actually enjoyed it, and it actually wasn't as like, spooky and how people get super nervous. It wasn't really, that deep into it. You just go there and you just have a good time. You don't really try to, think you're gonna win the tournament and then just accept, whatever results you get, especially if you do better than you thought you would have done, right? So I hope that inspires some of you guys to go, participate in your own in-game tournaments, in-person tournaments, because they're really fun, and everybody in the communities is like really dope, really nice and down to earth. If you guys want to see some of the pictures I took, I'm going to be posting them after I post this video on my Twitter, which is going to be, Jose Rocks VGC, Rocks with a Z, literally listed right here. Same thing. That's my Twitter handle. If you guys know how to make your handles red on here so that people can click my link, let me know with a comment below on how to do that, because I'm not really too sure how to do that, and I would love for people to be able to click my Twitter from here. So if you guys have an idea of how to make this, hyperlink, let me know with a comment below. But that's gonna be it for this video. I will catch you guys in the next one. Stay tuned. More new videos soon. Deuces.